Welcome to the latest plug-in hybrid electric vehicle in town, the BYD Sealion 6. Now, BYD Philippines is officially marketing this as something else, more of a range extender hybrid for specific governmental reasons. But in this video, let's take a look at what these cars can offer and if these cars could be the next best thing in terms of plug-in hybrid electric vehicles here in the Philippines. Now let's start off with the exterior of the BYD Sealion 6. So this has what BYD calls the Ocean X face, and you can really notice that immediately because instead of giving you the Chinese emblem logo that you would usually find in the likes of the Dynasty series such as the BYD Han and the BYD Tang, you do have the BYD corporate logo instead. You have these nice like U-shaped LED headlamps over here. You get huge 19-inch rims, and from the side of the Sealion 6, you can really tell that this is a large vehicle. Now if you compare this to the already ongoing BYD Atto 3, this is much bigger. In fact, size-wise, with the exception of width, this car is even bigger than the Toyota RAV4 and the Honda CR-V. Now, towards the rear of the BYD Sealion 6, what's quite prominent here would be, again, the BYD badge and the BYD Sealion 6 badge. Now, just as a fun fact, if here they are putting this under the Ocean series together with the BYD Dolphin, in China, this car would have a different badge. They would have called this the Song Plus, and in Australia and New Zealand, I believe they even call it the Sealiu. Now, you'll also notice another badge right here. It says DMI. Well, this is just denoting that it is the range extender or the plug-in hybrid variant of the BYD Sealion 6. Now, I said earlier that this is about the size of a Toyota RAV4 and a Honda CR-V. And you can really tell because here, the boot area, it is pretty big. There is this entire box of BYD right here, and you still have so much more space even with that box over there. This also comes with a subwoofer here at the rear because this gets a 10-speaker audio system, more like a 9+1 really because of that subwoofer. We'll test it out later on when we get inside the interior, but yeah, that's pretty impressive for a car of this price. As to how much it costs, well, stay tuned. Now here inside the interior of the Sealion 6, and in terms of the color scheme and the general design of it, it really does remind you of the Ocean series. So if you've rode inside the BYD Atto 3 or the BYD Dolphin, yeah, this looks pretty similar to that. I am noticing a lot of soft touch materials all around the cabin, including on your dashboard as well as on your doors and even this center area right here. So I'm liking that so far. You have a digital instrument cluster and you have this massive 15.6-inch touchscreen by the center with wireless Apple CarPlay and, get this, wireless Android Auto. Now, as with most BYDs, there's this very impressive thing you have here, and with the press of a button, this entire screen just rotates, so you can have it in landscape mode or portrait mode. I believe in China you can even watch Chinese TikTok. Here in the Philippines, I'm not too sure about that. Now, other pretty impressive things you have here, they have what they call the Heart of Ocean Shifter. So it reminds them of the Titanic, supposedly. And yes, it has that very nice crystal effect to it. You have a dual 15-watt wireless charger too. So both you and your passengers can enjoy wireless charging at the same time. And you even have lots of driving modes here. So you have your EV mode, your pure EV mode, which again, you can go around 100 kilometers on it. You also have your hybrid mode. And if you put it into sport mode too, while in hybrid mode, you even have that additional full power mode, which brings your full power to, again, 217 horsepower. Definitely not bad. Now, the seats on it, yeah, at first, we haven't really had much time with it, but yeah, they feel comfortable enough. We really want to try it out more in the future. And now, with that said, let's check out the rear seats. Now, given the size of this vehicle that is, again, bigger compared to the RAV4 and the CR-V, you will expect tons of space here at the back, and that is exactly what we get right here. So I have more than a foot of space, or almost a foot of space. I even get a panoramic sunroof. I get pretty good headroom too, and even though it's slightly narrower in terms of width compared to the CR-V and the RAV4, seating 3 people right here shouldn't really be a problem for most journeys. And because it is technically an EV, right, and you don't really get all-wheel drive or all that, you do have a fully flat floor, so that makes it should make it pretty comfortable for long drives. You also get your very own air vents here at the back. Thankfully, it's 2, unlike some other Chinese brands, and you even have the center armrest with 2 cup holders over here. Now, one thing to note though is that if you get this car in Arctic white or azure blue, as what we have right here, you have this blue and gray interior. However, if you go for the harbor gray version of this vehicle, you're gonna get a tan and black interior, which will probably look a little bit more unique. Now I know you want to see the exciting part, so I'm going to show you the engine right now in 3, 2, 1, and you only get one huge engine cover right here, so you don't really see much. Now you can open this, but yeah, there's really not much inside. But what you have here is a 1.5 liter gasoline engine. Now this one, it works usually like a Nissan Kicks' series hybrid system, wherein it only acts as a generator and it doesn't really power your wheels. But in the instances that you want to boost your power a little bit, they have what they call like a power mode for this one, which will enable this engine to also power your wheels in conjunction with the electric motor. But now let's talk about the power figures that it makes. In pure electric mode, you can do around 197 horsepower. In combined electric plus gasoline engine mode, you're looking at around 217 horsepower and 325 newton meters of torque. Not bad at all. But remember, this is a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. So what is your maximum range in EV mode? About 100 kilometers. Again, not bad for Metro Manila traffic and for your day-to-day trips, right? But since it is a range extended plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, your total range with that range extender mode balloons up all the way to around 1,100 kilometers, which is really good. So if you're gonna ask me, will you have range anxiety with this? No, of course you won't, because you still have the gas component. Now, is it fun to drive? Well, we'll find out later on, but as for 0 to 100 kilometers per hour time, you're looking at 8.3 seconds. Not bad for the size of this vehicle. So it is now time for us to try out the BYD Sealion 6, and we don't really have the chance to bring this out on the open road, but BYD did give us this private stretch of road wherein we can try out its prowess in terms of acceleration, some ways quietness too, and since the roads here aren't exactly the best, we can also kind of try out its suspension. So let's start off with its power. So you have two modes, right? You have your hybrid electric mode, you also have your full EV mode. Horsepower differences between the two is only around 20 horsepower, so when it comes to acceleration in either modes, it is plentiful. You obviously get instant torque because it still has that electric motor powering your wheels most of the time. It's pretty explosive feeling. BYD might have said that this one goes from 0 to 100 in 8.3 seconds, but as you drive this along, it feels a little bit faster than that. But if you are already going pretty fast, you don't really feel the speed too much, because BYD says that this comes with acoustic insulated glass here by the windshield, which means it's a lot quieter compared to if you did not have that. Now, BYD didn't really give us like a random Sealion 6 without that to test for comparison, but let's just take their word for it that it makes it a lot quieter. And speaking of quietness too, since again you barely really use that gasoline engine, most of the time you just use your electric motor, it is so quiet in here. But in the times that you do use the hybrid mode and that gasoline generator, if it works as a gasoline generator or even as an extra powertrain to help you accelerate faster, it still seems to be pretty quiet in here. But again, the real test will happen once we get to try this out on the open road, so do stay tuned for the full review for that. Now, next thing I want to talk about would be the steering. So it is pretty light, really. Maneuvering this large vehicle is not hard at all, and since we do have an open road, we can kind of try out doing a little bit of fast corners, and there's a lot of wheel spin, there's a lot of stability control kicking in, but it handles pretty well for its size. And I want to try this out again. We're going to do a slight boost test in 3, 2, 1. Yep, it can handle itself. It still feels pretty composed even if you do it. So in those emergency maneuvers, you have nothing to worry about if you are driving the BYD Sealion 6. Now, the next thing that's pretty impressive with the Sealion 6 is the amount of advanced driver assistance systems that you get right here. Yes, that might be pretty common nowadays with vehicles, but given the price of this vehicle, as well as its size, as well as the fact that it is a new energy vehicle, it's pretty impressive since you do get the full suite of advanced driver assistance systems such as adaptive cruise control and lane keeping assist and lane centering assist and autonomous emergency braking. But most of all, BYD calls this the intelligent cruise control because it even comes with the traffic jam assistance, wherein in low city speeds, the car can practically drive itself for you. It's still not fully autonomous, but it is pretty close already. Now, we also haven't been able to really try that out because, again, we don't really have any cars to follow here. It is a private road, right? But next time in the review, we'll be sure to test that out. So how much do you think does it cost? It's much bigger than the BYD Atto 3. Technically, it has much higher range because of that range extender gasoline engine under the hood. So you'll expect that it's going to cost much more compared to BYD Atto 3, right? Well, you are absolutely wrong because this car will only cost about 1.5 million pesos. In fact, the image price they showed us, which I can't really tell you yet, is even lower compared to the BYD Atto 3's base variant. So you're getting an almost unlimited range EV that's also exempted from coding for that price. Yeah, we think that this has the potential to be a best-selling new energy vehicle here in the Philippines.